Comic-Con joins Cobra Kai. Here's your look at the Diamond Select. Cobra Kai Never Dies. Johnny Lawrence SDCC 2022 exclusive. Everyone loves the Netflix series Cobra Kai, but we prefer it on VHS. This fully articulated 7-inch figure of Johnny Lawrence depicts him as he appears in the fan-favorite Karate Kid sequel series, and includes a display base. With over 16 points of articulation, this figure will take home the title in any martial arts toy tournament. It's limited to 4,000 pieces worldwide. Starting off first, I'd like to thank the folks over at Diamond Select. They did come through and provide the sample of the SDCC 2022 exclusive Johnny Lawrence in clamshell casing. And we can have a look at this video. Johnny Lawrence, by the way, is exclusive to San Diego Comic-Con, at least the way he's boxed. And he's very limited to only 4,000 copies worldwide if you're looking to track one down for yourself. Grabbing the tape measure just to see how tall the figure stands. Johnny Lawrence, as was the case with Daniel LaRusso we looked at earlier, is about a 6.5-inch tall figure. And that works out to be a figure that's about 16 centimeters in height. Not always bitter rivals. Here's what Johnny Lawrence looks like next to Daniel LaRusso, who was also an SDCC 2022 exclusive. Seriously, if you guys are collecting the Cobra Kai figures, if you get the chance and you're able to grab one of these from the convention or order it online afterwards, you won't be disappointed. Although you may be a bit disappointed to have to open up the packaging to have these guys properly on display. But the paint job on 2 of these figures alone is much better than the ones we got in the retail release. Although, again, I don't have the Johnny Lawrence yet. I'm hoping to track one down at some point, though. Another figure we can bring in for comparisons, a slightly smaller figure, is what Johnny Lawrence looks like next to John Kreese. It does seem like they are sharing the same geese again, but the head sculpt, maybe it's just the neck. They've given maybe Johnny Lawrence a slightly longer neck that makes him a little bit taller than John Kreese. Yes, I do have John Kreese with his hands tucked into his belt. You got a problem with that, mister? No, it was a reference from Karate Kid. But yeah, I mean, this Johnny Lawrence looks super cool. Doesn't have as many accessories, I would imagine, as the retail release does, but a really nicely painted figure he is. Johnny Lawrence gets pretty much the same accessories as the Daniel LaRusso we looked at earlier. He gets himself a display stand, and he gets himself a trading card. And while I'm talking about trading cards, I'm already picking up the display stand. The display stand is an oval-shaped display stand, the very one and the same that we did get with the Daniel LaRusso, although, of course, different colors of plastic being used here, and different dojos, too. Instead of the Miyagi-Do karate on the top here, we got ourselves classic Cobra Kai. I'd love to get myself a Cobra Kai t-shirt. It does have one singular peg that's going to attach to the underside of Johnny Lawrence's feet. And like I said, it's just a regular molded oval-shaped display stand. Got to put that to the side. Figure also comes included with a trading card. A little bit of something on the top of the card there. Gets a little bit of fluff or something. But a nice-looking trading card, All Valley Karate Championship, Johnny Lawrence, 1984 champion. Down below it has strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Again, they are using an older image here of Johnny Lawrence, and for comparison of that, we're going to bring in the Daniel LaRusso trading card. You know, for the fact that these are... Now, I did say, why wouldn't they have used a younger version of Daniel LaRusso, maybe from the actual tournament itself? But you never know. Maybe these were cards that were later released while they were older. Although it would be strange to have both of them displayed like this for the purpose of a trading card. But you never know. Maybe this is something that was available in stores. You just open it up and it comes a little strip of hard gum. That gum was always disgusting, especially if you had it years after it expired. I wouldn't recommend that. Maybe these were cards that were available afterwards if some kids were interested to get into karate and they were collecting some of their fan favorites, Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso. In both the cases, it has the exact same read-up on the back, so the only thing that's changed here is the image of the character down below and then the corresponding dojo that they're a part of. Decades after the tournament that changed their lives, the rivalry between Johnny and Daniel reignites in this sequel to the Karate Kid films, which I've just read on the back of the cards. Nice thick cardboard cards also in both the cases. At least it's a nice takeaway to come include with the figure. Granted, yes, the figure doesn't come include with any other accessories than that display stand, than that trading card. But still, let's get a closer look at Johnny Lawrence. Now, he has with him permanently designated hands, in the sense that he does have one pointing hand. Good for, I guess, instructing his students. the hard ways of Cobra Kai, and then later Eagle Fang. He does also have a closed fist. Now, I guess you probably could really use the hands. Now, I only have right now Daniel LaRusso's hands and I have John Kreese's hands. I guess I could really swap either one of those out if I did want to get something a little bit different than just a pointing hand. I kind of like the idea of having Johnny Lawrence pointing. It just seems like something he would be doing. Listening to old 80s heavy metal rock and then pointing and telling his classmates to do something, like jumping off the top of a building. Don't laugh. It actually happened. As for the head sculpt for the figure, and again, I only really have this figure to work from, but I got to tell you, like, the head sculpt not only is really good, but the paint is really good as well. Like the case, though, we looked at Daniel LaRusso earlier, it doesn't seem like quite the same skin tone for his face that gets shared with the rest of his body, as his neck is slightly lighter. Now, you could really just chalk it up to the fact that maybe Johnny Lawrence did get himself a tan. He also seemed to get the same similar tan for his arms that also matched the same color as his head. Like I said, his neck is a slightly lighter. Probably what they have done in this case is they've used the coloring of the gi, the dark plastic, the black plastic, and then they've just painted the neckline and done a close enough job of resembling the two or matching the two skin tones. But yeah, head sculpt is really good on this one. I would be curious to maybe get another one of Johnny Lawrence's head sculpts, maybe with a different expression on his face. But I think they have certainly captured the likeness rather nicely. He is wearing his bandana that has tied off the back here with two straps coming down. When you are moving the head back and forth, it doesn't seem like these extra straps of material, in this case plastic, seem to get in the way of things, but we'll talk more about that in a second. But it does seem like it's the same gi as both the Daniel LaRusso, here's the Daniel LaRusso we looked at before. They would have, of course, for obvious reasons, changed the sleeves out. Instead of having sleeves, he gets bare arms. But it does look like the actual main component parts for the gi are carried over from one figure to the other. John Kreese also has the same thing going for him. And actually, John Kreese is a more slightly better comparison, because in both the cases, a little more paler is John Kreese, but it looks definitely like their gis are the same color. John Kreese's is actually a little bit darker in black. It looks like maybe Johnny Lawrence has had just a little bit of a brushing of a lighter coloring added on top of it. Spin the figure around so you can see it from the back. I'm trying to remember if Cobra Kai actually does have the dojo logo on the back of their gis. I don't think that they do, but they certainly do share peg holes on the backs of their torso. That would have been for the purpose of having the adjustable neck, not necessarily for the retail for the San Diego Comic-Con release, but the retail release of Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso would have had pegs that went into the back of their torso. John Kreese would have had that as well. The lower half of the plastic, I have to note, is actually a slightly darker shade of black than what we get for the gi. It's almost as if they actually used a plastic for the lower legs and maybe even painted the gi instead. Or it could have been just the case that they just added the extra paint over top of it and the legs just don't get as much of that. As already mentioned, he does have the peg holes on the undersides of his feet. Choose wisely as to which foot you want to actually attach onto the display stand, but he does have two at least to work with. And yeah, it's probably the exact same feet as what we got here for John Kreese. And I'm just going to go on a limb and assume it's the same feet that they also use for Daniel LaRusso, which is fine because really all the characters are wearing gis anyways. Why not just reuse the mold again? For the articulation here on convention exclusive Johnny Lawrence, his head rotates, yes, all the way around. You can have the head lunging down, leaning down, and have the head looking up. You're not going to get as much mileage, though, in either of the cases. Even to move the head down and to move the head up, that's to the furthest extent of what you can actually do with the head. Yeah, there's not really a lot, but at least you can rotate the head all the way around. The upper torso is on a ball joint. The lower torso is on what only seems to be a swivel joint. The arms do come out. Not quite as much. I mean, you're only getting... It's super tight on my arms, but you can get the figure at about 90 degrees, just maybe a little less than that. You can take the arms as well, still squeaking and creaking the whole time. You can rotate them all the way around. Figure does have a bicep swivel. Figure does have a double hinge on the elbow, shared also with John Kreese, shared also with Daniel LaRusso. Hands rotate all the way around. You can split the legs easily, thanks to the little split that they put on the side of the jacket of the gi. You can easily, like I said, bring the legs out for Johnny Lawrence, take the legs moving forward, take the legs moving back, 3/4 of the way up the thigh. So that's about halfway right there. It's a little higher than that. That's about 3/4. There's a swivel cut. So yeah, you can rotate the leg all the way around. Figure does have a double hinge on the knee. Figure does have ankle articulation both this way and ankle articulation also this way as well. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time in this review. I already talked about that when we looked at the Bruce Lee, and I certainly also reiterated that when we looked at Daniel LaRusso. But yeah, the clamshell packaging I really wish was something that could be reused. having just to destroy the whole thing to gain access to the figure. I still wanted to have the figure loose, so I'm not disappointed in that regard, but I also wanted to be able to keep the packaging intact, that if I ever down the road decide I want to put the figure back into the packaging, I could do that. And unfortunately, I can't do that because of the way they make the packaging. Maybe if this is something going outside the box of the San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, but if this is something that they want to continue the trend of doing with the retail releases, fine for that idea. And maybe just make it a little more collector friendly. So you could actually remove the trays, remove the accessories, remove the figures, and still not damage the figures in the process or damage the packaging in the process. And then one last time to bring in his colleagues. Again, what he looks like next to the San Diego Comic-Con Daniel LaRusso, and also what he looks like with his fingers tucked into his belt. You got a problem with that, mister? Here's what he looks like with the John Kreese. Still, though, even though I have now the San Diego Comic-Con that we looked at in this review on hand, and now I can put on display, still would like to track down the retail release just to see what the accessories are packed with that figure, because again, like with these figures, they're a little more skimped on accessories. And again, apparently there is an Eagle Fang version of Johnny Lawrence. Yes. Would definitely like to get my hands on that one as well. Seeing as I've yet to actually show these figures in final looks actually on their display stands, I wanted to rectify that by actually having Johnny Lawrence displayed with his. It's a, granted, slightly smaller display stand. I would imagine the retail release of Johnny Lawrence is going to have more of a circle-shaped stand than what we got already with both Daniel LaRusso and John Kreese. But for the purpose right now of displaying Johnny Lawrence, I'm going to just use the display stand because at least it brings in the Cobra Kai logo that's nowhere to be found on the figure itself. One thing I may actually do, and I haven't yet tried it, is to change the hands out for Johnny Lawrence. Maybe I'll keep the fist hand for the time being, but having the pointing hand only seems to really work if he's actually got his hand up by his head, like he's making a point, or if he's pointing out towards his students. Just to have his hand out like this, it sort of seems strange to have him with a pointing finger. So I'm going to see if I can maybe use a hand that came included with Daniel LaRusso. Although the skin tone for Daniel LaRusso is notably darker, it may look a bit strange. All right, let's just stop that idea altogether. I'm just going to keep it for the time being until maybe we get the retail release, and then maybe I'll see if I can swap out the hands. Nice looking Johnny Lawrence, though. I am a bit bummed the fact I didn't actually have the other Johnny Lawrence, because it would have been nice to be able to bring that figure and actually do a proper comparison to show you the perks of picking up the San Diego Comic-Con over the retail release. And I didn't really mean to diminish it so much in the review of Daniel LaRusso talking about the benefits of picking up the San Diego Comic-Con 2022 over the retail release. If the retail release is what you're able to get, it still makes for a nice looking figure. I just wanted to point out, though, the positive points of the San Diego Comic-Con, that the paint does seem notably better, a little bit different, at least in case of Daniel. But yeah, if you only had the chance and you only have the available funds to pick up the retail release, I still encourage picking those figures up if you're a big fan of Cobra Kai. A big fan, though, of Johnny Lawrence here. I am super excited to get my hands on the Eagle Fang version of him, which apparently is circulating from what you guys have told me. The idea of having Johnny Lawrence displayed in his Eagle Fang gi. Yeah, I think that's going to be fun to have on display, along with the John Kreese, and now 2 Daniel LaRussos on my shelf. A big thank you once again to the folks over at Diamond Select that did come through once again and provide the sample of the SDCC 2022 clamshell case Johnny Lawrence. That's something that you have to take a deep breath quickly and then just take that and just say it all at once and hope that you don't run out of air. Once again, though, the San Diego Comic-Con is exclusive to conventions of San Diego conventions, and it's also limited to only 4,000 copies. Now, you probably think to yourself, well, 4,000 copies. I can sleep on that. I don't have to jump on that right away. You don't. I mean, 4,000 copies may circulate for a while. The problem, though, is, as with always the case with a lot of convention exclusives, you sleep on something like that, scalpers are going to probably be picking up more than just the one. Even though online, I think SDST, that's Diamond Select Toys, have limited, I think, this to a 1 or 2 copy limited pickup. In the convention, I'm sure you probably could come back a couple of times and pick up several of these, come back with a fake mustache, come back with glasses and a fake mustache, and just pick up a couple of these. But scalpers will probably be trying to get more than one of these. Don't try to pick them up online afterwards, because you may regret the prices of what these things are going for. Try to get them right away. Try to get them as soon as possible. In fact, again, I'll provide the link down below to Diamond Select's website. Might be the better means of actually getting both Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso. Don't pay the inflated prices you'll find afterwards. Lots of videos coming away, guys. If you are new to this channel, you're enjoying the content that you're seeing, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Make sure as well that you're turning on the bell notification. I know it always sounds like I'm just spewing that stuff out to you at the end of these videos. Why is he always talking about subscribing? Why is he always talking about hitting the bell notification? Well, it helps you, first of all, to get notified whenever new videos are popping up. I have frequently been hearing lately from a lot of you viewers, the older viewers, that you didn't even know that I was even making content anymore. That's how unfortunately broken the notification system is right now with YouTube. To ensure that you aren't missing out on anything, if you're able to actually see this video, hitting the subscribe button down below, turning on the bell notification, you're always going to get those reminders. And in your subscription feed, you'll be seeing my videos popping up. Without that, you may not even see my videos popping up, or you may even see like one or two. The point is, hitting the bell notification actually not only benefits you, but it also benefits this channel as well. We are also going to be looking at some future Diamond Select reviews. In fact, Diamond Select was also nice enough to send over the John Wick, also in a clamshell prison. Knowing how resourceful John Wick is, he's probably not going to stay in that clamshell very long, but we are going to be looking at him in an upcoming review. So make sure, yes, you're coming back to this channel. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.